Welcome to the very first, possibly the very last episode of a new segment on the channel, which I'm calling Happy Travels, which is a series of positive, uplifting, inspiring, sometimes funny aviation and travel stories to keep you feeling positive and to keep me from annoying my family, who are just behind that wall right there. I asked you to share with me some stories that you've seen of companies and people doing inspiring and uplifting things, whilst everyone's kind of sitting around scratching their heads, asking questions like, when will I ever travel again? Exactly who is that flying over my house, and why are they flying, not me? And why have I all of a sudden become really invested in marble racing? More on that in a second, but first of all, here are some good news stories happening in the worlds of aviation and travel this week. I made a green screen. It's high-tech, that's too close. Over the last few weeks, several airlines have been putting on brand new repatriation flights. Austrian Airlines flew one of the longest flights in the airline's history from Sydney to Vienna. That's over 16,000 kilometres to bring Austrians back home. Air Tahiti Nui's flight from Paris to Papeete in French Polynesia was actually recorded as the world's longest domestic flight at just over 15 hours. British Airways have also been putting on flights, one in particular recently between Lima and Gatwick, where this Twitter user actually posted this video of what happened when everybody touched down back on home soil again. But I think holding the record is, over the past 2 weeks, Germany has actually flown back over 42,000 people back to Germany again on over 160 flights from 60 countries around the world. And other airlines have been stepping up, not just flying passengers back home, but cargo as well. Lufthansa did a big cargo flight between China and Europe to bring medical supplies across to people who need them. Samaritan's Purse, another charity, also flew supplies to the people who desperately need them in Italy. All the pilots, the crew, the ground staff, everybody who's been involved in these flights, I want to say thank you to them. I just love as well being part of an industry who are just so good at coming together in a time of crisis like this. So to everyone involved in those repatriation flights, who's flying cargo around the world, who's getting supplies and people to the places they need to be right now, thank you. Now, if I was flying from LVG to BKY via a quick stopover at WNC, where would I be heading? One Twitter user who's sick of just traveling from various different parts of their home to another has put up a list of airport codes based on places in your house. Others were quick to follow destinations such as FPC or front porch, BFR obviously being the beer fridge, and one of my favourites and probably one of the more popular destinations right now, and I'm sure for you guys at home as well, NFX. It's better. As I record this weekend should have been sun and fun, but unfortunately, because of everything happening in the world, it's no longer going ahead. However, companies like Sporty's Pilot Shop and Garmin Aviation have put together a lot of free content online as part of a virtual air show, so people like you don't miss out if you want to find out what's happening in the world of aviation electronics. What do cabin crew get up to when they are forced to work from home? Thanks to Instagram user JamesHad25, who sent me this video clip.
Hi, have you sat here before?
Every day.
Great. So you're familiar with the exit?
Yeah.
I just need to run through some safety points with you quite quickly. There's someone in there, sir.
In our bathroom.
Yes, it's occupied. I'm going to need you to wait by the counter.
We don't even live with anybody else.
Would you like to purchase some duty-free?
Are you literally trying to sell me my own alcohol?
So would you like to purchase some duty-free?
I got that for my birthday.
Contrary to what some experts have been saying on Twitter recently, Qantas are not actually retiring their 747-400 fleet just yet. The flight in particular, which a lot of people jumped on, stupidly, I can't believe people did that, and assumed that it was Qantas's last flight of the 747, was QF28, which flew from Santiago to Sydney a couple of days ago. The Simple Flying website actually heard from Qantas after that flight landed, who did confirm that no, that wasn't in fact the last flight of their 747-400. Just goes to show you shouldn't believe everything that you see or hear on the internet. And now it's time for the most popular segment on Happy Travels, where we do cut across to another part of the world to find out what's happening in another part of the world. Nico, how are you?
Hello, everybody. How you guys doing over there? How you doing, Steph?
Yeah, I'm very good, mate. I'm very good. I hate it that this is the way that we have to see each other. We almost should have been in the same part of the world at Sun and Fun. It's nice to see you virtually. But yeah, what's happening in the US at the moment?
Well, in general, we're having a sort of a shutdown, but every state is kind of doing its own little thing. There's little direction from the top in terms of shutting things down and stay home. But generally speaking, I think people really realize what's happening and they're deciding to stay home. And of course, that has impact also on general aviation in general. According to the latest video that I just published a little earlier today, I can no longer fly because I'm out of my biennial flight review. So as of yesterday, I lost that and I can no longer fly. So
That sucks, mate. I'll put a link to Nico's video up above if you haven't seen it. But hey, you've got some good news for us, yeah? You've got some more positive things that are happening in the US right now?
Yeah, I do actually. There's in this chaos that's happening, there's a few good stories, and one story that is interesting is, and we kind of expected that, is that the FAA is actually working with the aviation community to extend medicals, medical certificates. So the FAA says that if you're losing your medical certificate as of March 31st, they will be extending that deadline to June 30th. But every pilot should also check with their insurance carrier to make sure that they will be covered in case something happens. On other news, it looks like the U.S. Senate is pushing the U.S.-based airlines to actually issue full refunds. So instead of the carriers just issuing travel vouchers, I mean, nobody wants a travel voucher where they have to pay rent and they have to worry about buying food and going to the grocery store, right? And the travel voucher doesn't do any good. So there's a lot of push for the airlines to actually issue full cash refunds. It looks like NetJets did something very, very nice. They have been dispatching their aircraft based in Anchorage, Alaska, to actually go to China and pick up millions and hundreds of thousands of N95 face masks and other personal safety equipment for healthcare personnel. Hospital in New York and other places will be receiving the much needed equipment that they desperately need nowadays. So it's very nice to see NetJets jumping in full on with their Global 6000 big jet aircraft and joining on that effort. That's great stuff.
Hey, Nico, you're a father. I'm a father. How are you guys dealing with it? Any kind of like positive tips or games that you're playing, or just ways you're keeping each other occupied at the moment?
In a way, this is a blessing because it's more family time. You just do the best you can with what you have, whether it's video games, watching movies, just doing all those things that you always wanted to do, but just didn't have the time to do them. And you know what? Believe it or not, even with all this time together, there's still a lot of things that we cannot get to do together just because there's just only 24 hours in a day, right? So, but yeah, stay positive and keep the energy going and keep everybody entertained. Limit the time outside, at least, us socializing with other people. But the outdoors, especially down here in Florida where we live, it's just wonderful. You can walk around in the neighborhood, take the bicycles, go out. It's beautiful out. The weather is gorgeous. So make the best of it.
See, that's another reason why I love this man so much. He's just one of the most positive guys I know. Nico, thank you so much. Thanks for your time this morning. If this goes well, are you around this time next week to do this again?
I'll be here. I got nowhere to go.
Excellent. Nico, all the way from the US, thanks for joining us.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Steph, for doing this. This is great stuff.
And finally, our aviation distraction of the week. If you want to get away from all the reminders of the world that we used to have and focus on something completely new, this week, Marbula One. This is exactly as it sounds. Yes, it's Formula One. Yes, it's done with marbles. You may think this is the lamest idea ever, but trust me, watch one video. At the beginning, you'll be thinking, why am I watching this video? At the end, you'll be going, come on, Orange. I'll put a link to Jelly's marble runs down below and some of the other news stories that I've featured, and also the people that sent in links. I'll link down to their Instagram accounts in the description as well. Please check those out. Thanks as always for watching. Stay safe. And of course, happy travels. From your living room to your bedroom, I understand. Bye.